So this is going to be my, he's going to play the role of the student here. He's my little actor. It's my son. Um, so the student that I'm working with, um, his target behavior was calling out during lecture, and during independent practice, making jokes towards peers, teachers, and also the TAs in the classroom. Um, so what I ended up choosing to do was not only adjust the setting of the classroom itself, but also teach the replacement behavior and use a positive reinforcement reward system to promote said replacement behavior. Whoa, calm down there, pal. Stop it. Just gonna scroll around. So the objective for this, ow, ow, Jesus Christ. Okay. So the replacement behavior is that Rango here is going to stay engaged and raise his hand if he has any feedback without calling out during a 50-minute period, no more than 2 times. Some of the examples and non-examples that I used for this were if the student has a question about the material and raises his hand and asks a question, if the student quietly helps a neighbor with a question, or if he raises his hand to take a break. As non-examples, I put student yells a joke to the class during lecture, student laughs over jokes with friends during the lesson, or student says inappropriate words in class, which some of the jokes that he tells tends to be inappropriate. So we can start out with the first part of this, which is the model. Oh my lord. What are you doing, you lunatic? Sorry, don't take points off for that. That was insane. You never do that. So we'll start out by modeling how we would kind of teach this behavior and like teach the process to the student. So the first thing I would do is, as the student comes into the classroom, usually they were coming in from lunch in the class that I was observing. So we'd start by pretty much introducing this replacement behavior and telling them like, hey, Rango, today, like, we're going to try something. We're going to sit through class without any interruptions. Pretty much if you have any feedback during lecture or any questions, you're going to make sure that you raise your hand and not call out. We'll also explain the reward system that's going to be put in place when he exhibits the replacement behavior. So the way that this is going to work is, I thought of this one all by myself. It's not very original, but it's got like some very, from what I observed, I feel like some of these are pretty specific towards like what the student would like. So the way that the reward system is going to work, the student's going to start every single day. That's you, Rango. You're going to start every day with 5 stars. Every time that the lesson gets interrupted, either by, any of the previously mentioned behaviors, like calling out jokes, making jokes with friends, or like just calling out towards like teachers or TAs, he's going to lose 1 star. So you're starting with 5, and you only have the chance to lose some. So what's interesting about this one is it's very engaging because if the student behaves very well, I'm talking about you, tough guy, if you behave well, you're going to get some stars. However, if the lesson is being interrupted more than 5 times, you can end up losing stars and even technically could even go into debt. So what's good about this is that I think that the rewards are tailored towards the student. So the student was calling out and like making jokes during class. The function behind it was attention. He liked to get attention from teachers, TAs, and his peers. Even myself, when I was in there, he was trying to get attention from me as well. So 2 stars is going to get you a sticker, because everyone likes stickers. It doesn't matter how old they are or if they're a lizard or not. 5 stars will be candy. And then where it starts getting into more of the attention ones is 10 stars will get him either extra reading time or free time to talk with his friends towards the end of class. 20 stars will get him lunch with the teacher, which again kind of plays into the attention part of it. And then 25 stars is a homework pass, because everyone loves a homework pass. I feel like it's impossible to make one of these without throwing that in there. So that's the way that this new reward system is going to work. So every day, pretty much, that you are well behaved and there's no interruptions and we can get through lecture, we're going to have, a chance for you to kind of rack up those stars and get some prizes. So the one thing that we'll start with is, as he walks into the classroom, after explaining what's going to happen with like this new reward system, the first thing I'm going to let him know is that we're going to be informing him that his seat is going to be getting moved. I think that moving his seat closer to the teacher's desk is something that could help. I think that it kind of like can stop the whole like calling out across the class thing, and on top of that, it could make it easier to prevent the action while it's occurring or before it even occurs. So I will show him where his new seat will be, and then I'm going to show him what like the routine's going to look like when we walk into class. So we're going to walk into class and then go straight to the assigned seat, which is located next to the teacher's desk. We're going to go there pretty quickly, try to get into our seat before the bell rings so that we don't delay the lesson from starting, because that can technically be deemed as an interruption as well. After that, we're going to move into the introduction/lecture part of the class, and then as we move into that part, we're going to make sure that we sit there quietly while also making sure that we're taking notes the entire time. I think that if he's engaged while taking notes, then the chances of him calling out and interrupting are going to be lower. The student that I was observing, Rango here, sometimes needs to take pretty frequent breaks. So he actually has a sign that he can just kind of use his little hand to hold up the sign. It's a sign that just says break on it. So if he needs a break, he can just stick up his sign. I can, without interrupting anything, I can just kind of give him a nod, and then he can go take like a very quick like bathroom or water break depending on how he's feeling. Then after that, we will move into the independent practice part of the lecture where the same rules are going to apply. If he has any questions, he can obviously raise his hand, or if he needs a break from the independent practice, he can raise the paddle. And on top of that, if he does finish early, good news for you, you're going to get some independent reading time, or you can talk quietly with some of your lizard friends as long as they're also finished with their lizard activities. So pretty much the point of all of this is going to be to kind of like show the student or lizard what all of this is going to look like and kind of like teach him the replacement behavior. I think that when it comes into the lead and test parts, how we would do it, the student would then go to demonstrate their understanding of this replacement behavior. While he walks into class, I would pretty much be like, hey, where are you going to be sitting today, to see if he understands that the move is going to be something that's permanent, and then hopefully he will give me the correct answer, to which I will tell him that he's a very good boy, maybe give him a little pet on the head. So then as we move into the lecture part, then I'll quickly, since he's right next to me, I can kind of go up to him and ask him, hey, like, what are we going to do if you're getting like a little antsy and you want to take a break, to which he'll respond that he can raise his brake paddle, which will also receive praise for, maybe another pet on the head. And then during this time, he should sit through the entire lecture without yelling out any jokes or making jokes with the students around him. And then when independent practice comes, it'll be the same thing. He'll quietly complete it, and if he finishes it early, he will have earned himself some time to either read or quietly talk with his friends once they're finished. To test out if the student has actually learned the behavior, pretty much what I'll do for you, Rango, is I'm going to observe you throughout transition, lecture, and independent practice. So while he walks into the classroom, he should make his way straight towards his seat. Obviously, the bell has like a couple minutes, and if he wants to talk to his friends quickly, that's okay, as long as he's in his seat before the actual class starts. When the lecture begins, he will sit quietly while also taking notes on the material. And as previously mentioned, if he does need a break, he can just raise his little sign with his little lizard hand. Didn't like that. And then when it's time for independent practice, he will very quietly complete it. If he has any questions regarding material, he can raise his hand and ask me, since I'll be right next to his desk. When the lesson ends, we'll recap how it went today. We'll talk about what I saw, and if he's earned himself some stars, he will receive direct praise for his good behavior. And then if he earns enough where he can automatically redeem some, he'll have the choice to redeem some if he wants like a sticker or a snack. I think those are the only ones that he can earn in one single session. And when it comes to just procedures and like follow-up activities, one of the ones for correcting behavioral errors that I just wanted to mention is if like I notice him not performing the target behavior, I'll be using an individual reminder. Since he's sitting next to my desk, it'll be very easy for me to quickly remind what is expected of him and what can happen if he does not perform the expected behavior. Also, it's kind of good since I am right next to him and he's at the seat closest to my desk. If I notice that he's starting to try and, like if I see the gears turning and the smile and he starts trying to crack a joke, I can kind of like stop it before it happens as well. The observation method is going to be the same one that I used. I think frequency recording is going to be the most useful one here because it's something that was happening like quite frequently in class, and it was getting to the point where it had to be corrected so many times that it was completely stopping the lecture. So if we can kind of like get that down so it happens less frequently, then I think that the problem is kind of fixed in itself. I don't know if I have anything else. I think that's it. You can hit the button, Rango. Hit the button, dude.